Let's talk about Bowyer and Dyer. That was nuts. Was there something going on before that led up to it?
There was definitely, because in training we knew that they were both sort of fighting for the same position.
Yeah. So off the pitch they didn't like each other?
Not at the time. There was little niggling bits. Didn't pass to each other. Didn't really speak to each other in training. They're all fighting for the same position under Graham Souness, the manager. So there was a little undertone, you know. Yeah. And then we were getting battered in the game. Stephen Taylor was already sent off, so we're already down to 10 men. Seriously. For that one. And then those two. I mean, I could. Can you imagine?
That's embarrassing.
In front of 52,000, he's ripped his shirt off. He's proper haymakers.
No, that's really haymakers.
The funny thing is that, I mean, not funny, you can laugh back at the time, is that they both got sent off. They go back into the dressing room and we find out after the game, Stephen Taylor's gone, all right, lads, what was the score? Because he didn't even know, because he'd already been sent off.
So you ended up with 8 players, presumably?
Yeah, three sent off.
8 players,
yeah.
I didn't, yeah. Wow.
And then I just remember getting back into the dressing room, and I'm captain. And as you can imagine, I just come in. I said, "You pair of idiots." I said, "Go on." I was like, "Go on, do it now." And then Suey walked in. You know,
was he managing at the time?
Graham Souness was managing at the time. Yeah.
Oh God.
So Suey come in, and things were going all over the place, chucking stuff, and he was effing and blinding. And Suey said, "You pair of." I'll fight the both of you now. Come on. I'll fight the both of you now. Come on, 2 of you. I'll have you and I'll have you together.
Brilliant.
Unbelievable.
That doesn't surprise me.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
And then, of course, they had to do their grovelling apologies. Sat next to the manager on the Monday or the Tuesday morning, or shaking hands.
Imagine being the manager of that game. You've got a player dives and pretends to, and then your 2 players fighting.
Suey did, yeah. Suey came into the dressing room.
Not a great day for team spirit.
Not at all.
No.
What a fantastic story.
I'll fight the both of you now together. Come on. I met Kevin before the concert.
In Huddersfield?
In Huddersfield, yeah. And things were great. But I was still undecided then, because such a big decision. I mean, Man United, as you know, huge football club, manager. We don't have to talk about him because I know how big he is. And at one stage, I'd made the decision. I'd gone home and said, I'm going to go to Man United. We'd even sort of had a drive around Manchester, and we were going to buy Graham Souness's house on Mere.
Right.
Not so long after that concert that we were both at, I got another call off Kevin to say, "Can I have another half an hour with you?" And I did. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to go back home. I'm going to come back to Newcastle. I can't let this opportunity go.
What was the sequence of events? So Sir Alex had met you when? Just before that concert, earlier on that day?
I'd met them both after that again, believe it or not, at David Platt's mother-in-law's house.
Right.
Somewhere in Chester, I think it was. I'd met Kevin in the morning and then Sir Alex in the afternoon. And Sir Alex's words were, "Am I seeing you first or second?" And I said, "Well, I'd met Kevin this morning." He goes, "That's me then." It wasn't as straightforward as that. It was a really, really tough decision. But I mean, this place, as you know, I grew up here. I came and stood on the Gallagher end there and watched my hero, Kevin Keegan, and every single week I used to come and watch, and I thought, I've got to go home. And they were willing to pay a world record fee for me. And it wasn't as if I was coming to a club that was struggling. I mean, the season before, they'd just blown that 12-point lead, I think it was, against you lot. And then I was meant to be the final piece in the jigsaw. Didn't quite work out like that.
In terms of, obviously, I played under Kevin with England for sort of a couple of years, and his enthusiasm, was it that, or was it the Newcastle, or was it both?
No, I mean, it wasn't. I didn't sign for Kevin. I know Kevin was the manager. I mean, Kevin was brilliant at selling Newcastle United, but he didn't have to me, because I knew what it was. Everyone knew what Newcastle United meant to me. It was a good job I didn't sign for him, because he was only here 6 months. I'd signed in the July or August. And then Kevin sort of left it at Christmas, so it was a good job I didn't really sign for him. It was the football club that I signed for, and I just wanted to be a part of it, and I wanted to play here. I had to play here.
What was the point where you think, right, I'm going back? Was there a discussion? Was there a conversation with your wife?
I met Kevin, believe it or not, in Manchester.
That's taking the piss, isn't it?
I know, yeah. He was flying out to the Far East on a pre-season trip, and he said, "Can I come and see you?" And the team have gone, and he was going to get on a flight separately. So I went to meet him. That was the decision then, and I never ever went back home. I rang home, I said, you're going to have to pack a bag for me. I've made my decision. Send the bag through to the airport, put it in a cab, and I never ever went back to that house.
So you agreed to sign for Newcastle
In Manchester, can you believe that?
After singing Everything I Do for You and Me and Bex.
And I had my medical there and everything, yeah, that was taking the piss. Yeah. But I had to then ring Sir Alex.
How was that?
I just thought, well,
being...
I've spoken to him in terms of him wanting to sign me for Man United. I thought the decent thing is to ring him now. So I rang him on the way to the airport. No answer. I rang him again, no answer. So I thought he's definitely not taking my call, so I thought I had to leave a message.
Had he been told then?
I think he'd already been told, yeah.
By your agent?
I don't know who had told him, but I think he was aware of the situation. And not surprisingly, he didn't want to take my call.
You had dinner with him, lunch with him a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
What was he saying about it?
He always reminds me whenever I see him about turning Man United down twice. I said, it wasn't twice, it was only once. It was the time in 96. I couldn't have signed it in 92 when I was leaving Southampton to go to Blackburn. And he always reminds me how many trophies I would have had. And what can I say?
You've actually both got England, Argentina in the 10-6. And that is obviously a game you played in, Alan.
Yeah, it was a very, very good game. Yeah, I mean, it was them scoring, us, then extra time, golden goal, and then penalties. So yeah,
Sol Campbell scored, and you clumsily found someone. And
apparently, yeah,
cost your country.
Did you find someone? Did you?
Yeah, in the end, everyone's having a go at poor David Beckham and burning effigies just because he got a little flick and a red card. When it really, Alan showed fouling someone just before Sol Campbell.
Interesting.
Cost England winning the
Can
World
you make sure you
Cup.
clip this up so I can put up my socials, please?
Yeah, but I didn't think it was a foul.
That
In his defence. It was.
But I did score the pen.
Okay, where did you go?
Keeper's right.
Keeper's right.
2 pens in the
Two
game.
pens in the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
One was in normal time and one in the shootout.
Okay. And where you went? Keeper's right, and then what was the other one?
Keeper's right.
Went both the same way,
Both
did?
sides, yeah.
Did the keeper go the wrong way on the second one? Can't remember.
I think he went right way on both of them.
Did he? Oof. It's always that horrible moment when you hit a penalty, isn't it?
Yeah,
and you see the keeper going the right way. It's like, oh.
Yeah. It was one of those, so I've scored the first one, put it to the right-hand side, which is my favourite side, keeper's right. I was always confident going there.
I'd much prefer keeper's left.
Did you really?
Yeah.
And then it comes to the shootout, I'm thinking, this is a mental thing now. He's going to think, is he going to think I'm going to go to the other side, or is he, because he knows my favourite side? But I thought, because of my experience in taking penalties, I thought, you know what, if you put it the way you want it, he's not going to stop.
That's it. And take the penalty you're most comfortable with in the highest of pressures.
That's what I thought.
Highest, I think so. That's why Kane goes. That's his go-to, isn't he? And then he backs himself if the keeper goes that way anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's bringing back memories,
Getting
isn't it?
nervous thinking about it. I remember walking up there. It was a proper.
Was it?
David Batty said to me in this, because him and Paul Ince missed in this tournament, in that game, and he said to me before he was leaving, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, if you're in any doubt, smash it straight down the middle as hard as you can. Put your foot behind it and whack it."
What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Late
gonna
shout.
do. Well, he's never taken a penalty before, ever.
It's mad, isn't it?
We were down to that situation.
The volunteers.
And he said, "Yeah, I'm going to. That's what I'm going to do." He ended up. We got there, so that from the walk
Changed his mind.
to the penalty spot, he changed his mind and he whipped it to the keeper's right. Keeper saved it.
No.
Yeah, so that's that walk. Does weird things in your head. That walk.
Well, I was born here. As soon as I could walk, my old man chucked a ball at my feet and a Newcastle top, and that was it. I'm no different to any other kid. That's just what happens here. Football means that much to everyone. My dad went to watch Newcastle every single week and loved it as much as anyone else. I did exactly the same with my son. As soon as he could walk, there's a football, there's a Newcastle kit, and he goes to all the games now, home and away, and he's a mad Newcastle fan, just like I am.
What impact does it have on the city, the football? I know everybody up here is absolutely mad in terms of, about football. But what impact does it have when the team's down, particularly in, say, the last 10 years, where it's been really difficult?
The football club is their life. They go to work all week, Monday to Friday, 7 till 5 or 7 till 6, to earn money to spend on a weekend, to have a good time. And spending their money means going to watch their club, Newcastle, going to the pubs and restaurants on a Saturday night, then they start all over again. So Newcastle is their life. I mean, I've been all over the country and I've not quite seen anywhere that When you walk around the town, you see the nanas and grandads, the mums and dads, the brothers and sisters, all the kids wearing the black and white, wearing the shirts. So it is their life. So for the last 14 years, it's been really difficult because they've had no hope. Cup competitions have been zero, and it's just been about surviving. So I can sort of understand and get why all of a sudden there's a little bit of excitement in the city. I lived in a 3-bedroom council house on an estate. We had the flats opposite where I used to go and kick a ball against the walls and get a bollocking every now and again to keep the noise down. They gave me what they had, which wasn't a lot. They went out and worked extremely hard. My dad worked in the factories. Used to come in at 5 o'clock. His tea was ready for him on the table. Probably still is, actually. And then they gave me the boots. They gave me whatever. They paid for the travel. And if it wasn't for them, I would never have been in the position I am now because, I owe everything to them.
What sort of advice would they give you as a sort of youngster in terms of football, but generally around life?
They would just tell me to do what I wanted to do, so long as I worked hard.
Yeah.
They didn't push me. They didn't force me. They just wanted me to go out and give it a right good go. And I'm like that now with my kids. If I didn't make it, it wouldn't have mattered, but they supported and pushed me all the way as much as they could. And I know if it hadn't have worked, then that wouldn't have been a problem for them.
You look at sort of, growing up in Newcastle, how difficult was it when you sort of got to 15?
Yeah, that was the hard part.
And you've got to leave here.
Well, that was really difficult. I had a decision to make. I signed schoolboy forms at 14, which it was what it was then, and then I got offered the apprenticeship to go down to Southampton and leave everything behind, leave Newcastle behind, leave my mum and dad, leave all my pals. And I still remember getting on the train and I could see my mum standing on the side when the train's pulling away, and the tears were coming down her face. Like a 15-year-old, 15's it's a young age, especially when I've got kids now. I look back and think, God, I'm not sure I could have let my kids go all that way at that age, but it was the best thing I ever did because it got me away from the council estate. It got me away from one or two of my pals who were starting to lead me down a different direction. I learned the game basically, and I went into a dressing room that was really tough, but it was the best thing I ever did, and starting the old YTS apprenticeship, and it was tough at the time, but it was amazing.
How does Alan Shearer not get spotted around here? You think about the hotbed of football, Newcastle, even, and God forbid, Sunderland or other clubs that are around here. Why would you not have been...
I went to West Brom on trial, I went to Manchester City on trial, I went to Newcastle on trial, and I felt as if they were okay. And I got one or two offers. Newcastle offered me also, but I looked at Southampton and I looked at their youth setup, the players over the years before me who had come through that system, and I thought, you know what, if I'm going to be given a chance, I'm probably going to get one there. I have a bigger and better chance of going down there. And also, I just felt for me to get out of Newcastle and go and learn football and grow up. And that, as I said, I think that was probably one of the best decisions I ever made.
Everybody up here has got a passion for Newcastle United that lives in this city.
Yep.
Why does the club not just hone in? Because they want that connection so much between the fans and the players. I can see that when I come up here and saw it for the last 25 years, and I'm not from Newcastle. Why does it not have that incredible sort of youth conveyor belt? Why is it not really honing on all the players and the talent up here and the passion and build from that? What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, it needs investment. The academy needs investment. You know as well as I do that you don't get anything without putting something in there. And for the last 14 years, it's had nothing. I mean, the training ground and the academy is exactly how it was when I left back in 2006.
Nothing been spent at all?
Nothing at all. It's the same academy, same training ground. It might have had a lick of paint, but other than that, it's nothing. And when you look at the players that have come out of the North East, whether that's Peter Beardsley, Steve Bruce, Michael Carrick, Alan Thompson, Steve Watson, Lee Clark, all of these guys and many guys before that, it's incredible because going forward, whatever happens, that has to change because there's far too much talent that has gone from this area, gone and signed for other clubs, and that has to change, and I'm hopeful that it will.
Is it an investment in the training ground, or is it the investment in the scouting, the recruitment, the quality of the coaching?
Everything. It has to be everything. It has to be an investment in Newcastle's training ground, Newcastle's academy, in the scouting, in the coaching. It has to do everything because without all that, then players are still going to go to other football clubs.
What was it like playing with Gaza? Because you're both from up north. And
he was a genius as a player, brilliant. But God, he was mad. He was an absolute fruitcake and great fun. I mean, a month was enough with him for the guys that didn't have to.
It's full on, is it?
Spend their team
Locked in a hotel as well, right?
Yeah, I know, locked in a hotel. A month was definitely enough. Yeah, because of the practical jokes. You used to go into your. You used to wake up in the morning and you put your pants on. You had DP in your pants, and it was like you'd been in your room and sneaked in your room before and trashed your room, and it was just. It was great, good fun at the time, but a month was definitely enough. Spending a month with Gaza.
Is there a more talented player from England?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. He was just brilliant what he could do with the football. He was brilliant, and of course he's one of the guys that has suffered really from not having the buzz of football to going to training to matches and what have you. And it's a shame to see him in the way he is at times.
Because some people, I guess, just aren't cut out to be for the limelight. Like, you can be given all this natural talent, but mentally you might not be prepared for everything's going to come with it. You did an interview with him recently, which I thought was really great. The questions, and he seemed a better version of himself than he has been in the last few years.
But he still has his ups and downs. He has his good days. He has his bad days, obviously. But he's genuine, and he would give you, and that's been part of his problem over the years, is that he'd give you his last penny. He'd rather someone else have it than him, and that has been an issue for him over the years. But because you're a footballer, because you have so much money, you're expected to handle everything. Well, sometimes footballers are normal as well, you know, and that is an area where I think football can improve, because a lot of footballers, and I mean a lot of footballers, come from a background where the parents have had no money, they've been brought up on council estates, and they've had nothing else but football. Similar to myself, born in a council house, raised in a council house, not a great area, and then all of a sudden, because you're good at football at 16 or 17 and you get to 21, you should be able to talk in front of millions. You should be able to be eloquent in front of a camera. If you're single, then you can't do anything wrong. I mean, come on.